Hello, Christopher. How are you, mate?
I'm good, mate. How are you?
Here he is, Christopher M. Everybody. Hey, I've got a stable of artists that I coach and promote on my YouTube channel and stuff like that. So if you wanted to ever be, I know you're already an artist here on Sessions, but if you ever wanted to set up another account and come into my crew, what that enables you to do as an artist, I will have you on my YouTube, because right now you're talking to 100,000 people across my YouTube channel. My website is 500,000, and Facebook pages, profiles, and sessions. And I promote the heck out of all my artists, and you can come on live and sing to all my fans on all my platforms to get yourself more of an audience. If you want to do that, feel free. It's a thing I do for everyone that joins my crew. They become one of my artists, and I promote you. So, but there is a way if you get it right. The artists that I've got and myself, we earn $2,000 a week now on Sessions with the wages you get, the $700 from the tier 11, the love you get on the top, and then the sponsorship and affiliation together, you can make about $2,000. And I want to help all artists do that because we're all struggling. We're not working anymore. And so if you want any of those tips and tricks, just join my YouTube channel. Set yourself up as a crew member in my sessions, and I will share with you everything that I've got and that I'm doing, right down to the fact. Look, see on the screen. Look, everything in my studio is in my shop.
Nice.
The Amazon.com/shop/Martyn Lucas. So if you like this microphone or the smoke machine or the sound or anything in here, it's all in there, and all that affiliation goes to support my channel. Again, I'll show you how to do that if you want to do any of that stuff. But I want to stress everybody, you could do it just with the camera on your laptop and the microphone on your laptop. Nobody's giving me, I don't get any more money. No one's giving me extra money because I got a really nice camera and I can do this switching with my feet and all this stuff, as you can see. People go, I always get comments, people go, wow, it looks great. Wow, it sounds great. Okay, but they don't give me any more money for it. You know, I've done all this because it's how I feel comfortable. As an artist, you know, Chris, when you sit down, I've got to be honest, I haven't done 6 hours like you. My back couldn't cope with that. I've done 3 hours. In fact, I did 5 hours once, and it literally did my back in. I was in a lot of pain, actually. But I do 3 hours, and I want to sit here in my little world that I've created and feel comfortable, totally relaxed, totally loving what I'm doing. And then that's why I do it. Not because of the money that Sessions pay me, and not because of the love. And as much as I love that, and that's what pays the bills, I want to enjoy it. So I'm really fussy, and I like to try to find the best ways of doing everything. I mean, it's insane. So I just bought an audio box, Presonus audio box that arrived to replace the one I've already... I've got one behind me. It's the 1818 VSL, and I've had a couple of issues. Yeah, you know it, right? I've had a couple of issues in the last few days since I've upgraded to Big Sur. And right now, everything's fine. My audio box is working. But all of a sudden, what will happen, it's happened a few times, I hope it doesn't happen right now, is it disconnects. It just disconnects and goes back to the internal microphone, you know, the Mac microphone. You know, I'm using Ecamm Live, how I'm streaming, with Restream as well. And it just disconnects. And I don't know if it's Big Sur, because I've researched. Big Sur are saying they do have some issues with audio and video. Few people have struggled. There's a few glitches, but I don't know if it's that. So I've gone out to, I've just had it arrive a minute ago on Amazon, right? An audio box, which is the new Quantum one. So I mean, it's probably it's probably this. I don't know if it's any better, but the point is, the point I'm trying to make is, no one can hear the quality of that through the internet. Right? I mean, it's great, everything's great, but time it gets compressed and then transmitted over, it goes through the Amazon servers on Ecamm Live, on Sessions, by the way. That's how they get it out. And then it gets reduced again. And then most people are listening to it on their phone. So a $700 audio interface, 99% of that is not even probably noticeable, to be quite frank, but it just makes me feel good. I just feel good.
Well, I mean, there's something to be said about, fidelity first, right? So if you're coming from a place of extremely high quality, by the time it goes through all of those switches and everything and comes out over our crappy little laptop speakers, it's still going to sound great. And there is something to be said for production value too, right? I mean, I know that you think that people don't kind of dish out a little bit extra because of the way that it looks, but I think that's not true. I think that the more production value you're able to put into something, the more legitimate it looks, right? It looks like something that you would watch on television, or you would watch a professional streaming concert. So, I think that has a lot to do with it. And yeah, to your other point, you can certainly go and just use your, like I am right now. I'm in my sitting room and I'm just using, my MacBook. But it sounds terrible when I go out to the studio. It's going to go in through. I use Persona's audio interfaces as well, and I have not upgraded to Big Sur on my studio iMac. My studio iMac remains locked at High Sierra because that is I want no surprises.
Yeah.
But yeah, especially with audio, you start at a place of extremely high fidelity, and by the time it navigates its way down to your little laptop speakers, you're still going to have a better sound because you're starting with better sound.
Yeah, no, you're absolutely right. In fact, me and Tom, Studio Tom, who's actually in the green room right now, he's waiting to come on. We'll have a chat with him in a minute. But what he does to simplify it. He doesn't even use an audio interface. He just goes in through the headphone, the microphone input. And I was telling him off yesterday about that because he's an engineer and he knows what's right and what's wrong. And he went, it works fine. He said, when I'm out on a gig, I will use an audio interface, but at home, keep it simple. And I went, Tom, you can't be telling me you plug your flipping DJ deck into the microphone input, the preamps in there, and the noise, and the this and that and the other. That's not the way to do it. But it works all right. It gets a job done.
Yeah, I'll be honest with you. When we had the full band in, and we were running everything through our Persona Studio One was the digital audio workstation software that we use. And we use that so that everybody can get their own individual headphone mix right out, so we can hear ourselves properly. But there wasn't an easy way using OBS to get the sound to translate from the DAW properly. So all I did was create another aux end and literally plugged it into the headphone jack of the PC because it was a makeshift solution that worked.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. If it works, it's all about feeling comfortable and doing what makes you feel happy. If there's loads of people on sessions, loads of them, hundreds of them, sitting there with a $10 microphone and a laptop, and that's it. And they're doing really well. They're enjoying it. But it's whatever. I just want to stress that because not everyone is in the position to be able to buy the equipment.
Sure.
Everyone's got different budgets. But one thing I try to do as a coach for artists, I feel it's my responsibility, having done what I've done and to share what I've done to the younger generations is most artists are very creative people, obviously. And it's a scientific fact that as an artist, as a creator, half the brain is creative and the other half is the business. And you need both. If you're just a creative person, you're all over the place. And it's very, very important. Well, I say it's important, but it kind of is. We all need to earn money. We all need to live. And it's important to look at your art or what you love doing and singing and playing music and turn it into, if you can, if you want to anyway, at least, into a business and find the best way of doing it. It's like the opportunities today, as I mentioned earlier with my Amazon shop, I'm basically an advert for Amazon here. Everything in my shop, everything in my studio is bought from Amazon. And if someone goes, I like that microphone, they can click on my link and buy it. And I earn a couple of bucks as an affiliate link. It's great. There's so much opportunity, Chris, isn't there?
Well, the beautiful thing, Martyn, like you're saying, is that the technology now has become so accessible. Like you and I are probably close to the same age. So let's jump in the Wayback Machine and go back about 30 years, right? And look to how much this technology, even just to record yourself, would have cost at the time. It was astronomical. A decent ribbon or condenser microphone for vocals was going to cost you between $700 to $800. An audio interface we got at the time, if they even had it, you're talking thousands of dollars. And then, but the neat thing is that everything now has become so accessible for everyone You can go on to your Amazon shop or wherever your shopping preferences are, and pick up a USB microphone. That sounds fantastic. And to that point where you were saying, the guys just get on and either use their camera mics or whatever. Um, I look at it the same way, Martin, that I look at video games. Okay, and I'll explain that because it sounds a little weird, but you've got these super high-end consoles like PlayStations and the Xboxes of the world, and all the games are beautiful and they're fully realistic, and but they're boring. And that's the reason that the Wii, with its return to the good old days of fun games, that's why it made such a dominant impact in the gaming market. And the same thing is true with artists. People read the energy and the passion that's coming from the person that's performing, and they don't give a toss about the gear. I've listened to some incredibly lo-fi streams where the people are just so interested and into what they're doing that you feel that passion coming from them, and you have no choice to think this is the greatest thing I've ever heard, and I'm listening to it, through somebody's phone.
Absolutely, you hit it. You explained it perfectly, and absolutely right. We had a chat. I've just introduced CMV Studio. Tom is here, just joined us in the green room. How are you, Tom?
Evening, everyone.
Thanks for joining in the party. We're having a great conversation. I know you're listening in there with Chris. Chris is from Canada, great artist, and it's great to have you here. But you're absolutely right. Some of the best games I ever played were the basics, the Space Invaders, and the little tennis where it would go backwards and forwards. I love that. I used to have a Binatone back in the 80s, a Binatone, where the things would go up and down, bouncing the ball back. It was so easy. It was so fun. It was simple to play. I have got these new games today where everything's like you're in a movie, and it's like I'm not doing anything. I'm pretending to be part of it, and it's like. Yeah. And remember the Beatles when they recorded those amazing songs on those basic microphones and those basic amps, they didn't have
one microphone on the drum kit. One microphone speaking from the drum kit. That was your engineering, not like 17 mics all over the drum set.
Exactly. I've probably got more technology in this studio right now than the Beatles ever had. Well, maybe not at the end, but certainly at the beginning anyway, and they produced records and sold millions of records because it's all about engagement, isn't it, Chris? Like you say, a real entertainer can sit at his piano. In fact, we had this. I'm going to bring in Tom in a second. Hold on a second, Tom. We had a gig. I drove to Wales in England, in the United Kingdom, drove to Wales, and all the equipment broke. We had a power cut. There was all kind of problems and stuff like that. And it was a sellout gig. People paid lots of money to watch our show. And there we were, big band, dancers, lights, pyrotechnics, revolving stage. We had all the gear, right? And we're on the stage and nothing's working. So I sat down. They had a little old piano in the wings. A little old upright piano. We pulled it onto the stage with a rope because the bloody wheels are broken. We pulled it on. I sat down there and said, folks, we got no power. Nothing's going to work. I'm just going to sit at my piano. You probably won't hear me sing because you all got to be really quiet, right? I'm going to sing here, play on an out-of-tune piano. Do you know what? It was one of the best gigs, and the audience loved it because they felt an experience, an emotion. They were engaged. They all got involved. I said to the band, we should do this every night. We've had the best gig we've ever had.
Yeah. And it just goes to show you that, it's less about, and again, not to demean your incredible, wonderful, fantastic setup, but it's less about, sometimes it's less about the flash and more about the passion, right? You're a great example of both. Right, you can totally get that passion that comes from what you're doing. You love doing what you're doing, and it shows. And your presentation of it is extraordinary. But it's not to say that I still wouldn't enjoy watching you if you were doing this like I am right now through my MacBook, or because there's that personal connection that comes through.
Well, thank you, Chris, for saying all those things, and thank you for recognizing the equipment and so on. Because now, at least I feel that it was worth the money, because it's not just for me. People are noticing it. I mean, Chris, my mate here from Leeds, he sent me a picture the other day of a 60-inch TV, and he took a picture of himself watching me in his house on a big sound system on his 60-inch TV. And I went, "It looks brilliant." He said, "We're all loving it." So it does make a difference. But I just got a friend here who's just going to bring in Tom right now. But Lays, who's from Sao Paulo in Brazil, I can tell that for the younger artists, it's more difficult as they don't have the tech, no background or money to jump to the next level. But like we're all saying here, you don't have to have it. You really, really don't. On that note, let's bring in CMV Studio Tom. How are you, Tom?
I'm good, thanks, Martyn. How you doing? Evening, Chris. How you doing?
I'm doing well, mate. How are you?
This is
good,
Tom.
thanks.
He's our #1 DJ on sessions. And Tom, share your experiences. What you think about what we're saying here today?
No, 100% agree with it. Obviously, as we all know, Martyn's got a phenomenal TV-style studio there. And my studio I'm working on at the moment, you can't see it because I'm on a different webcam at the moment, but I do multi-camera switching. I've got multiple microphones set up. So I wonder where I got that idea from, hey, Martyn? Copying multi-camera switching.
Yeah, have you noticed that Tom's got a nice pink background? You might notice. Have you noticed how very similar it is to me, that colour? We share ideas all the time.
You're in the same house. Just admit you're in the same house.
We're in the pink house. You need to go and get a pink light, Chris, so you can join in with this happy theme of guys with pink lights. Pink.
Well, I've got the Philips Smart Hue bulb, so I could turn this room pink. I could do it.
Exactly. I'm exactly the same.
Yeah.
We've got smart bulbs in here. Way to go. Come on, then. Sort it out. Right.
All right, hold on.
He's going to go, "Hello, Susan." Hello, Alexa, please go pink. Let's see if it matches up. Chris says, "Hi, Rosie." Who we got here? Where are you from, Chris? Pippa. Chris is from Canada, and he's about to turn his lights pink live on the show. No idea why we're...
No, just to sort of back up what Martyn was saying there about the studios and the costs and the equipment. So obviously, Martyn's got his full Amazon shop at the moment on there with all of his equipment in there, but I've got nowhere near the level of money that Martyn's got to do the studio, and to sort of base the idea of what I've done using multiple cameras, multiple equipment. Martyn's got 4K cameras. I'm doing it off 3 webcams, just to give you an idea of difference. And obviously, I know I'm not streaming out at 4K. I'm not doing it out at the quality that Martyn is, but I'm using the same streaming software as Martyn. I've got it set up on an Elgato Stream Deck, the same setup as that, and it just works really well. And what artists will notice if they come into the artist stable that Martyn's running, I'm working alongside him with doing the coaching on that, and we'll go through how to do it on a smaller budget, how to do it on a really big budget, how to do it off a laptop on its own. As you said there, Chris, you've got your Mac laptop and you've got a Philips Hue bulb that you can run to do the lighting on it. Obviously, you've got multiple setups that you can do in that, or you can do 4 moving headlights or 2 bar lights like I'm running. So there's multiple options from low end to top end and everything in between. Yeah. And as I said in the chat earlier on, between you've got 47
no one's
years.
Going to drop by your stream and listen to you and go, "Yeah, the lighting doesn't look good. I'm taking off."
No, exactly. But I'm just saying that's just because obviously what I do as a DJ, I'm not singing, I'm not doing piano, I'm not doing guitar work. And a lot of people say, "Oh, DJs are just button pushers." And I know me and Martyn have had quite a few comedy laughs.
I say it all the time. Don't let him get away with that, Chris. He is a button pusher. He stands there, presses play. I don't care what he says.
Listen, it's not about pushing buttons. It's about how you push the buttons and what.
Oh, there it is. We know. Tom knows I'm only taking the mic. No, he's right. No, Tom has the lights because he's a DJ, and that's important for him. I totally agree with that. Chris, where's your pink lights?
It's too dark. So this is just my sitting room. So this is where I watch television. So it's a very dim room. So it's just if I shut off the main light and try to do the Philips Hue, they're like an ambient light in here. So it's just too dark.
Oh, I see.
My studio has like a full overhead bank of Hue lights, so I can get that going.
Brilliant. Lay's just called in from Brazil and says, "I hear you, as my niece Natalie is doing a great job here at Sessions without much more than her talent, and also learning a lot from you." So yeah, absolutely, that's right. Everyone, it's all about doing what makes you feel good, okay? I just like this. If no one was listening, I would still be doing all of this because it's just what I like.
Yeah.
But I want to...
exactly. I agree with that as well, Martyn. From back in the early days before the new artist leveling system come in, obviously I'm not going to divulge all the background of that because a lot of people aren't going to know about what happens to us artists behind the scenes. But I do it just purely for the passion of what I do. As I said, I've got 10 years experience in doing what I'm doing, and with having no work at the moment, it's great having sessions as the ability to be able to come on, do what I do, and also not just do what I do, but meet so many new artists as well.
Absolutely
it's
right.
funny that you say it that way, though, because I'm going to be one of these guys that's going to go on record and be absolutely unapologetic about the fact that I'm hoping to help myself earn a living from what I do, because frankly, the amount of effort that we all put into it, it's worth it. And I feel like it's so weird, like, musicians. When somebody asks me, what do you do for work? And I say, well, I'm a musician. They say, well, what's your real job? And I'm like, well, it is a real job. It's a skilled trade, and I think we need to. I know, Tom, you were where you were coming from with that, but I think it's funny that most artists are very self-effacing in that matter, and they don't want to promote themselves. They don't want to try to think of a way to make money at doing something that they love. God forbid you find something that you love that you're able to earn
exactly.
A living with.
That is so important.
Yeah, and I agree with that. Sorry, Martyn. I agree with what you're saying there, Chris, and I get that. And in the early days, before all of the new leveling system, I'll be up and honest with it. You couldn't earn it. You could have earned a living from doing sessions in the early days, but it's only now with the new leveling system, you put the work in, you get the rewards for that. And as Martyn's rightly said earlier on in the show, with the sponsorship and the affiliate links and doing it right and getting it right, you can earn a significant amount every week by doing sessions with the sponsorships and the new artist stable that's coming along. That's going to really support.
Well,
start getting stuck in working with Martyn on that. So I want to say, Martyn, as well, thank you so much for including me in that.
I know, absolutely, Tom. You deserve it because you're such a nice guy. Everyone on sessions loves and respects you. You help everyone, and that's really what it's all about. You've got to make it a bit. You never apologize for making music a business. I've been in this business for 37 years, and for me, I do it because I love doing it, period. Number one, more than anything else. I've got no desire, never had a desire to be rich, never had a desire, but clearly I do well out of this. This is my business. I use it as a business, even though I love doing it and it's my passion. We all need to live. You can't live in a world where I want to be true to my music and just sing and in my bedroom to myself. Well, that's great, but who's paying the mortgage? You've got to pay the mortgage. And this is a really good way, legitimate way to earn a business. Now, today with technology, the way we're all linked together, the way we're all, we can have technology to help us. If you've got the imagination, anything is possible. The limit is you. I mean, just for example, this thing I've now started with my Amazon link, basically everything in my shop is an advert for Amazon and stuff like that. Someone might go, his microphone sounds great. What is that? They'll go and watch my YouTube channel. That YouTube video is monetized, right? I've earned some money on that video. Then someone has sponsored the video. They paid me for a commercial on that video. They bought the microphone. The microphone has earned me a couple of dollars. Amazon have taken the video that I made, that I put on my shop, and promoted my YouTube channel. Everything goes round and round and round. Yeah. But it takes work. It takes effort. I sat up to about 3:00 in the morning last night, building out my shop, building out my website, sending in videos to Amazon. It's a full-time gig. It's a full-time job, and I must spend at least 12 hours a day working in my studio for online pursuits, whether it's sessions, YouTube, Facebook, all these things. And it has to make money. I do not earn any money from anything else to pay my mortgage. This is it. And you can. If you do it right, you certainly can.
And there's nothing wrong with, like you said, if somebody wants to, if their passion is music, but they just want to sit in their room. I mean, there are the Peter Gabriels of the world, right? Where it's just art for art's sake. And that's fine too. And it's not necessarily that you have to become something you're not, or not become true to your music, to make a dollar at it. You just have to have something that somebody wants to see some value in, and it's really not that hard. And one of the greatest things about sessions is that, like, I'm down here. Well, let's go lower. I'm probably about down here in terms of like artists leveling up on sessions, right? I've just started. Certainly you guys are way up above me. But the cool thing is that we're all able to come on here. We're able to cross promote each other. We're able to help each other out. That's been the biggest cool factor for me about sessions is in an industry where it is usually unabashedly cutthroat. And no one wants to, you would step over somebody else in order to get up another rung on the ladder. It is 100% the opposite here. And no matter whom I've talked to, everyone's just been so willing and kind and generous with their time and tutelage that, that's something that you don't get with the Facebooks or the YouTubes of the world, right? So
No.
I think that's super important.
That's right. And no one is in competition with anyone. No one. We're all ourselves, When people listen to my music, they don't listen to my music because I am singing this particular song. They're listening because they hopefully like me, because no one is going to listen to me if I've got the best studio in the world, the best sound in the world, I'm the best entertainer in the whole world, if there is such a thing, if they didn't like me. People are not going to sit and watch you if they don't like you. They might go, well, he's the best singer in the world, but I don't like him. It's all about helping people out. This is why everyone loves Tom. Tom's always helping people. He's always humble. He's always there to help everybody. And that's what it's about. We're all friends together. We're all supporting each other. No one's in competition with each other. The best advice I can give to anyone, and I'm going to actually show you. Stay right there.
While he's gone, I'm just going to say that there's absolutely nothing like listening to an Englishman sing the Beatles.
No, exactly.
Thank you. Right. See this here? Very, very important picture. All right. Okay. This is the secret to my success. Everything I've ever achieved is down to this picture. What happened here was I used to have a theatre show in the West End of London called One Night in Vegas. It's like Broadway in America, Chris, if you're not sure what that is. And we had a big show called One Night in Vegas. And I had the British Philharmonic Orchestra. I had loads of showgirls. I had all kinds of wonderful, amazing things. All right? And we toured for 8 years all over Britain. I never made any money, but I had a wonderful family of people. The show cost me a fortune. We even hired the London Palladium, over £50,000 to hire a theatre in one night, right? We kept it going for 8 years, and we put on one of the biggest one-night touring shows in England. It was an amazing experience. I still keep in touch with everybody. Those days are gone now. It was about 10 years ago, the final curtain came down. And I never made any money, and in the end, I went bankrupt. I lost everything. I lost absolutely everything because I run it as a passion. I run it as a passion rather than a business. And having said that, we kept it going for 8 years and everyone got paid. No one lost any money. I paid everybody. Everyone did their thing, right? But we kept it going for 8 years. In the end, I said, guys, I can't afford to do it anymore. I'm losing everything. My house was taken off me, my car, my possessions, everything. I lost everything. All right, but I managed to make sure all my staff, all my crew, all my musicians, everyone was paid, everyone was taken care of because it wasn't their responsibility. They worked for me, they deserved to get paid, right? We lived it. It was a beautiful thing. Now, one of the musicians, the co-owner of the British Philharmonic Orchestra, very astute, very top of his game as a trombone player, one of the most respected MDs in the world. He did the Lady Diana Memorial concert. I mean, we're talking the highest level in the world. And he kept saying to me, Martyn, you got to make money. And I always felt it was a dirty word. I'm an artist. I'm a singer. I'm a theatre producer. It's all about the music. He said, we all love playing music, Martyn, but we're all the top British Philharmonic. We're all businessmen. We're all guys with 2-3 houses. We rent properties. We make money from our music. Don't ever apologize for that, right? Don't ever apologize for making money. Know your value. Run this as a business. Do not run it because eventually you will go bankrupt. Well, I ended up going bankrupt. I lost everything. Now, my mum, on the other hand, so we turned over millions of dollars, millions of pounds, sorry, But I spent millions of pounds. We had the biggest show you can imagine. I never had nothing. End of the gig, I'd go home sometimes in tears because the exhaust pipe of the lorry fell off and I didn't have any money to fix it, but all the band got paid, right? My mum in this picture, she died about 10 years ago. That's why I just thought about it in Eleanor Rigby. Now, see the £10 note? Can you see that on the screen, the £10 note in the corner there?
Yep.
That £10 note, the day my mum died, I was in England. She was in Ireland. I was in England. And the days she died, I got a phone call. My mum had died. Just as I was talking on the phone to family saying, your mum has died, this little bird landed on the windowsill outside where I was looking for the window. And this £10 flew across, all right, and landed on the ground. I went outside and picked it up. And it was the moment my mum died. And I put it in this frame. Now, my mum always told me, never spend what you don't have. If you've got £10 in your pocket, only ever spend 8. Always keep 2 back. If you can't afford it, you can't have it. Simple. My mum never had any money. She only earned about £100 a week. She earned hardly any money at all, but she always spent less than she earned. If she couldn't have it, she went without. My mum and dad went through the war. They know what it's like to have nothing, right, and put up with stuff. She never bought nothing on credit cards. She never borrowed money. She only ever invested her profit. She only ever invested what she had. The moment my mum died was the beginning of the One Night in Vegas had finished and so on and so forth, and I went bankrupt and lost everything. And I walked out of the court for the first time in my life with £1 in my hand. I had no debt. The millions of pounds in debt had gone. For the very first time, I had £1 in my pocket. For the very first time since I was a kid, I had £1 and I was worth £1. Even when I had the big sports car and the lorry and the dancers and the orchestra and the show, I looked like a millionaire. I had millions of dollars of debt, right? So £1 in my pocket would have been nothing. It would have been a minus $1 million. This day, for the very first time, I had £1 in my pocket. And I was able to go out and buy a loaf of bread for the first time and actually own that bread. Eat the bread that I paid for and it was my bread. Didn't owe it on a credit card or what have you. And from that moment on, I remember what my mum said about don't spend what you don't have, only buy what you need and so on. If you can't afford it, don't buy it. And I went out, in fact, Chris has just mentioned One Night in Vegas was a great show. He came to the show, this guy watching on Sessions right now. And I started my life again. And I remembered everything my mum told me. And ever since then, I've never been in debt. I've never borrowed money. I set up a brand new life in America. I have my house in England. I have my business here. All this is paid for. Nothing is here on debt. Nothing. And I've done it all by just working. I get $10. I reinvest it. I don't borrow any money. I do it with what the money I've got in my pocket. I use a credit card again now because we earn points on it and we get cash back. But I only spend what's already in the bank to pay it off tomorrow. I don't owe money more than 24 hours. I hate owing money. I'll buy it on my card today. I'll pay it off tomorrow because I earn the 2% back or whatever. And that's it. And, if anyone says, oh, well, you've got this or you've got that, I had zero. I came to America 5 years ago with zero. Right, I couldn't drive, didn't have a driver's license, couldn't work, didn't have a green card, knew no one, knew nothing. I came here because I wanted to marry Leah, a lady I met on a cruise ship while touring around the world doing what I was doing, right? Came here with zero, and I built a business from zero. And this entire studio, 4 years, in fact, a year ago, was the spare room in the house. None of this equipment existed. And all this was bought from me singing on Sessions, YouTube, Facebook, doing gigs, whatever. Not a single penny was borrowed. So anyone can achieve it, and anyone can be successful, but run your life as a business and never apologize for whatever it is you do, whether you paint pictures, whether you play music. Look at it and go, how can I make this pay for itself? It has to. We live in a world where you need money. So there you go.
Yep. My friend, and it's a testament to the.
Oh, I've lost you, Chris. You've gone a bit quiet, mate.
What's that? Sorry.
Sorry, you went a bit quiet then.
Oh, I was just. Sorry. I was up by your story because it's, it's a testament to folks like my grandparents, that also survived the war in Europe and understood what it was like to live on rations, and they had very much the same rule, and it's so easy now. Everything, we live in a finance society where everything is priced just a little more than we can comfortably afford to pay with cash, so that they can lure us into those never-ending interest routines. But what you said is spot on. If you there's nothing like the feeling of actually owning something that no one can ever take away from you because you're not going to miss a payment or whatever. It's yours. It belongs to you. I hear on that. That's an important lesson for everybody to learn, for sure.
Brilliant. Hey guys, it's been wonderful chatting to you. Is there anything you want to add, Tom, before I end the call?
No, just to back up everything that you said, Martyn, that anyone can do music, and just to sort of agree with what Chris said, if you put the right mindset to it and you want to push to be a career musician and make it a full-time musician, you can well do that. And I'm fully behind anyone that wants to do that. That's why I'm part of the artist stable with Martyn, to bring artists on 2 sessions and get them up to that level of earning the $2,000 a week with the right support and the right training there. It can be done. And obviously a lot of what I'm learning from Martyn to then bring on to the other artists, I'm applying to what I do as well.
Yeah. Anything is possible. The only obstacle in life is yourself. As long as you got your health, you need your health, because if struggling, and even, mind you, having said that, there'll be people writing in telling me, saying, I've only got one arm, I've only got one leg, I'm blind, I'm deaf, and I'm still making a success of my life. Absolutely right. And when you see those people, you think, flipping out, I really should be doing better than I am. But it's not about how much money you got in the bank. It's about how you feel. If you're happy, you're happy. As simple as that. When I won the World Piano Man, a lot of people said to me, they expected me to have this really big house. In England, I've got a little tiny house, little tiny cottage, right, by the sea. Little tiny house. You'd call it a starter home. And I've been there all my life, never going to change, never going to sell it. It gives me what I need. I've never spent more than I have had to. I just get what I need, and I'm happy. And someone said to me, you have a big house. And I remember always saying this, Buckingham Palace is exactly like my house. There's just more bricks. They're made of the same stuff. Yeah. There's just more bricks. I don't need 500 bedrooms. I got one, and the other one is for my studio. That's it. Guys, it's been absolutely great talking to you. This has been a really fun chat. I'm going to get Chris, you're a legend, mate. It's lovely to have you here. Call anytime. Studio Tom calls anytime. Chris said American trait is big is better, but not necessarily so. Absolutely right. Absolutely right. You're spot on there. Rosie is here. Let me see. Pippa's here from Wales. One night in Vegas. Remember the days. It was great. Some of the videos on YouTube. Yes, there are some Vegas videos on YouTube. Yes, there are. Loving the lighting, Tom. All you need is one of Martyn's jackets. I got a jacket here. Where is it?
Well, I was going to say, to back that up, Chris, if you go to Martyn's Amazon shop, which is amazon.com/shop/Martyn Lucas, the jackets are all on there, I believe.
They are. Look at that on the screen. I tell you what, though, there's one jacket you can't buy. Let me change my camera.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, that one is rightfully yours and will always be your one, Martyn.
Do you want to tell people where this one came from?
That is the winning jacket when Martyn was named World Piano Man by Sir Elton John back in 2002.
Yeah, Elton John gave me this. You can't buy this on Amazon.
No.
There you go. Oh, it's very heavy as well.
I was going to say, Martyn, mind you've got that jacket on, and we've just mentioned about your World Piano Man victory back in 2002.
Yeah,
I think the next song could possibly be "Candle in the Wind," your winning song.
All right then. As talking about money, as you're my friend, as you're one of my coaches in my stable, you don't have to give me any love for this. I'll do it for free. But everybody else has got to give me some love for it. But Tom, you gave it for free because you cheekily asked me. I love it.
Oh, you know me. I'm always cheeky when I ask for things.
Always. Hey guys, Lays from Sao Paulo said, love the chat, will pass along to my niece. It is so true all you said. So sorry, but I have to go. We'll be back next session. Fantastic. Great. It's been a real pleasure talking to you guys today. COVID changed everything. A lot of people looked at it as doom and gloom. And I can understand that. For the first month, I was all doom and gloom when all my gigs got cancelled and thought, how am I going to pay the mortgage? And I got really down. And I tried what you were doing, Chris. I got on Facebook and I wasn't happy doing it on my phone. I thought, it took me a while to get this all sorted out and so on. And every crisis, every war, every situation that's been beginning of history, there are opportunities. In every bad situation, there are opportunities. And COVID is awful, terrible. People have died, but people have died of all kinds of things. Exactly the same. People have died of old age. People have died of cancer. Everyone's carried on dying, right? But what COVID has done, it's given us an opportunity to do things in a new way. And if it wasn't for COVID, I wouldn't be sitting here. I wouldn't have a studio. I wouldn't be talking to Chris. I wouldn't know who Tom was. These are great people, friends I enjoy talking to. I'm having a cup of tea here, chatting with my mates, singing some songs. I'm going to let you both go as I sing for Tom, Candle in the Wind.